Hey everybody, I'm Shane Ireland.
I'm Alan Britt.
I'm Steve Mobby.
And I'm Andy White.
Look at that, right on point. I'm
right.
Shane Ireland. Welcome to another episode of Mystery Review. It is the month of May, somehow, which is crazy. It was Christmas like yesterday.
Absolutely.
It's warming up here in South Carolina, and we're smoking not Latakia today, which is pretty amazing.
I'm happy about
There's
that.
no
I am
Latakia
too.
in this?
I mean, as far as I could tell at the moment.
Okay.
Never say never. Today, our guest inquisitor is BriarWorks' own Peter Prevost. Pete has been an inquisitor a number of times. I want to say that most times that he's been an inquisitor, he's also given us something either really rare or pretty aged, or he's been a very generous inquisitor.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Been a generous inquisitor. Maybe still tricksy, but certainly not skimpy on the fine tobacco.
I'm a little bit jealous. Last time he was inquisitor, he came with the Samgay with squadron leader with Perique.
Right.
It was a few months before I started doing this, and I've never tried that tobacco.
And you never will.
Never will.
Everybody out there that has the potential to be a mystery inquisitor in the future, just make sure you never ever give us squadron leader with Perique.
Yeah.
We gotta keep that.
Alan missed it. It's over. It's gone. Anyway, this is familiar, although I will say that based on the little bag note, it's not what I thought it was initially. Okay. I don't think. The cut is also throwing me off a little bit here.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I noticed.
Because, I mean, it has the European Ready Rub vibe, but there's a lot of strands in here that are longer than that. That could be a longer flake that's been rubbed out.
That Pete was just trying to trick us with. Yeah.
But I don't know any other way to put this. I mean, it smells like Germany. The bag note smells like aged German.
That was immediately my thought.
Right. I'm going to actually get back in here and see.
So what was your first thought then?
My first thought, well, I've smoked a lot of aged cop tobaccos over the years. I think Pete knows that, which is probably why he's trying to make a fool of me here, or a fool of all of us. It has the smell of well-aged, like Gowrie, Howl of the Wind, however you pronounce it. But I think something different's going on here.
Yeah.
I thought for a second it literally said what it was on the back. I was like, that's easy.
Well, that would be a big trick if he wrote a fake blend on here. We were like, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking that it was. And that would be a false trail. That'd be something Pete would do.
Genius.
As far as what I'm getting in the actual smoke so far, definitely a Virginia forward blend. Decent amount of sweetness. It does have the fermented notes of a well-aged tobacco.
Is anybody thinking dart fired, or am I alone in that?
So far, I was not getting that, but I am still trying to figure out whether or not I'm tasting Perique or any kind of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm getting into that yet.
Yeah, it's not strong, but I kind of feel where you're coming from. Like there's an undercurrent there.
Like a little oaky afterbirth.
Yeah.
That's the technical term.
That's the technical term.
A tinge of oak.
It has some spice for sure, and a lot of those tobaccos do. Like the big three Rattrays, Virginias, have varying degrees of Kentucky and Perique in them.
Super fruity, man.
It is. It is
Super fruity. Plummy.
very
Yeah,
rich.
very plummy bag note too. That was the first thing that I noticed on smelling.
I think there is Perique in here.
I'm just gonna have my pipe in my mouth every time I try to talk in this. Good luck trying to figure out what I have
Team
to say.
Perique for sure. And more likely than not on the Perique. And something is just screaming dart fire to me. Like it's not in your face like American blends, but it's subtle.
So this is wacky, but like on the retrohale just now, like we're all getting a little bit of spice, I presume.
Yeah.
Like I straight up tasted Tabasco sauce. Like straight up, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of chili. Like it was like peppery and vinegary.
Yeah, very savory.
It is. Yeah, it's rich too. I'm not getting like a ton of sweetness. I expected more based on the like initial light and the bag note.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with the Tabasco on the retro. That's interesting.
Like it's not just peppery, it's like peppery and vinegary a little bit. Again, I mean, I don't know for sure, but this feels to me like a tobacco that's probably approaching 10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some age here. And now that I've like retroed it a couple times in a row, I'm getting the vinegar just with every puff, whether I retro or not.
As maybe off-putting as this sounds, I'm still tasting all that sweetness, that spice. There's also a umami kind of soy saucy thing going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely earthy. It has some of those flavors. I am getting a little bit of like molasses too, I think. Like it's not, or brown sugar. It's not
that
like,
makes sense.
yeah, it's not like bright, high register sweet flavors.
Yeah, I'm getting, like you guys mentioned spice, I'm getting more like baking spice than
Yeah.
I think I am something peppery.
I'm all confused because I've been smoking almost nothing but aged cob stuff recently. Like I just opened a tin of Wessex Campaign Dark Flake from like 2005, and it definitely has similar vibes.
Yeah.
Except maybe without as much spice.
So I don't personally have a ton of experience with especially aged cop stuff, but cop in general, outside of the big three Rattrays and my brain is not working. Scottish Flake and Scottish Cake and all that.
yeah.
McConnell.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with like Wessex.
Sure. Man, I'm gonna need a few more minutes to decide whether or not I feel like this is what I think it is, but I want to say I've definitely smoked this before, and I want to say I've definitely smoked a fair bit of it before, which is a bit of a context clue because I've always gone back to Brown Clooney and Old Gowrie as like the sort of German-made Virginias that I smoke the most of.
Yeah.
Also a lot of Scottish Flake, obviously, which I do not think that's what this is.
No,
I'm pretty
I'm not
darn
getting
sure.
And Pete would have to be pretty
Yeah.
bold to give you Scottish Flake.
I mean, it would
He's a
be
bold guy.
hilarious. It would be hilarious if I didn't get it.
Yeah. Is bold the right word?
Cruel is the word I was thinking, but there's just something else. Yeah, I'm not getting as much sweetness, as much tanginess, and there's a little more spice than Scottish Flake tends to give. Also, the cut's not right for Scottish Cake. There's too many long strands in there.
Yeah.
But it could be. Damn.
It's just an Orlick Golden Slide. It's just Orlick.
Yeah. Could this be Captain Black?
Could be.
Whatever it is, it's really good.
It's the new release from Captain Black.
Yeah, I'm convinced that I've smoked it also. It just tastes so familiar. It smells so familiar as soon as I open the bag. But I'm leaning towards one of those Rattrays products, but I just don't have enough experience to differentiate between the three.
So
I'm leaning towards a very aged version of one of those Rattrays.
I definitely think this was a flake that was rubbed out.
Same.
Yeah, it feels like that for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're still connected. And there's like portions that are thinner ribbon, portions that are kind of still stuck together.
Thicker ribbon. I like my ribbons pretty thick.
Oh,
Are
we
you
know.
guys getting like any bergamotti kind of things?
Oh God, Andy, you just ruined everything that I had planned. No.
Good job, Andy.
Maybe citrusy, but I don't know if it's bergamot.
A general flowerness.
Damn it.
I'm getting
Damn it, Andy.
I'm getting something that's like kind of like black tea, Earl Grey kind of vibes.
Now you've got me all messed up.
Yeah.
Because this pipe is not that old. I've only been smoking it for a couple months, and thus far I've only smoked aged golden sliced in it. Like that's all I've smoked in it. So now I'm very confused.
That's a crazy pipe, by the way. I was looking at that before you sat down.
You want to talk about pipes for a
Yeah, we
second?
can talk about pipes for a second.
We'll talk about this thing, man. That's
What is that
That's a
thing?
wrap pipe.
This was my acquisition at the Chicago show this year. This is a little, kind of like a little fishy by Cornelius Mans.
That's dope.
I have a bunch of his pipes, and I love the little compact, tightly knit sort of stuff that he does. Also, I love how from like different angles, like blowfish, apple, like it's such a complex little shape, and it's really hard to appreciate all the lines until you have it like in your hands. It's also an amazing smoker.
Sick.
Nice.
I'm doing a little compact moonshine grape shot. A lover of little pipes myself. I've always loved that cannonball shape, so I was super stoked when they made just a teeny tiny version of it. And this one's covered.
I remember you being very excited.
Those are so good.
I had to hear about it for like 3 days straight. I've got a rusticated former apple, just nice classic shape. The kind of trademark former rustication. One of my favorite smokers.
Great Virginia pipe.
Yeah, great Virginia pipe, and it's kind of showing through on this because there is a lot going on.
I've got a sort of a go-to small Virginia pipe for me. It's the little Bulldog from Mikel Kirizanos.
Nice.
Love that pipe.
Yeah,
Classic.
I am a sucker for a Bulldog, so I've been kind of eyeing that pipe the whole time you've been smoking here.
You know what's really weird? When I first started smoking pipes, like Bulldog was like not a shape that I felt drawn to at all.
Sure.
Like I've seen people smoking them, and I feel like it's kind of a hard shape to pull off.
Unless you're Scott Thielen.
Right. Man, yeah, Scott can do some pretty crazy Bulldogs.
Yeah. You mean like rocking it though?
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I feel like ever since I got this pipe, it felt more like like an old school, like 1920s era patent pipe kind of thing.
I initially thought it was a Dunhill.
Really?
Before it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
it's right in there. I mean, it's right in there.
See, for me, it was the exact opposite. When I started smoking a pipe, somebody looked at me and said, "That guy's got a face that just looks like a bulldog." And so, put a bulldog in my hand.
Okay, can we talk about this?
This is an interesting point though, for real, because when Steve just said, "Oh, I'm a sucker for a bulldog," part of me was like, how much of that goes back to you're referring to the pipe I gave you?
Yeah, you gave me a pipe when I first started.
Yeah.
They were like, "Here, this looks like a pipe that you would."
It was one of those little stout ROP bulldogs.
Yeah.
Which is I still have it in my rotation. Great smoker.
Great pipe.
Yeah, you definitely called it on that one.
But it's funny because like I've told this story before, but the first time I walked into Racing in Laramie in San Diego to buy a pipe, like the minute I turned 18, the guy who was helping me, great guy, good friend to this day, was like, "Oh, you need like a round pipe because you have a round face." And I was like, "Oh, word? Like, okay." So yeah, the first thing I got was like a little bent apple.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was a very common thing back in the day, was to pick your shape of pipe based on like how it accessorized your look and like particularly your face. Like, oh, you got a long face? Smoke a chimney.
Right.
Like this was a thing. This was a thing for many, many decades. And I did not do that to you. No. But I will say that all these years later, like what, 17, 18 years later, practically,
still an apple guy.
I'm still smoking apples almost exclusively.
Yep.
So I don't know if that was just put in my head or if it's
That's
because I
pretty
have
crazy, man.
the roundest face in the world. I have no idea. But
that's an apple guy.
yeah, I have gone back and forth between a million things and remained an apple man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm an absolute sucker for a bulldog. Probably my number one bucket list pipe of all time would be an Ilstead bulldog.
Oh man,
It's one of my favorite shapes. I love it, and I guess it's just because I have have a bulldog face.
Yeah, I mean,
there's something innately
there's
bulldog
something
about him.
there's something in there that's like this guy's a brutish English gentleman from the 20s.
From the 20s.
At some point, someone told me I had a compact face.
Oh,
What does that even mean?
That's how I got into those.
It's like your face is squished.
he's got a group one.
Tiny little head. Oh my gosh.
And that's stuck because you're the king of the small pipes.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, like I said, either Homeboy called it, and there is something to this like pipe and face science thing. There's some science behind it, maybe.
This needs to be investigated.
Yeah, but I mean, normally what we tell people, and this is true, whatever immediately grabs your eye is the right shape, and whatever you think is the best looking. But yeah, no, I tried. I went in all kinds of different directions, and I just came back to
apples.
apples.
Yeah. What kind of face does Andy have?
I don't know.
Paneled billiard.
It depends on my mood.
Foursquare.
Thanks. Are you complimenting my jawline?
It's your symmetry. It's your symmetry.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That's a compliment.
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
You're like a Greek sculpture. Yeah.
Anybody can birth a round baby,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Have you tried passing the square, baby?
We need sharp angles on our babies.
Oh man.
are we tasting this anymore, or is it just like?
Well, I mean, last time we talked about like ribs for breakfast, so we have to
that's
have
true.
some sort of a side.
That does sound good again.
I mean, you get the most out of a pipe when you're distracted and let your subconscious mind think about it. Don't focus on it too much.
Okay, so back to this though. Dude, Andy, you really messed me up with the citrusy notes, and they're so faint. I'm gonna go ahead and ignore them. Just personally.
That's convenient.
Just personally.
There's like I don't think that the cut's right,
Yeah.
but there's something about this that reminds me of Capstan Blue.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Dude, damn it. I don't. So here's the deal.
Now you got me revisiting everything.
Here's the deal, though, and like if I end up talking us out of this and regretting it, then apologies. But it's possible that this was very old Capstan Blue that was put into a jar or something. I seriously doubt this was pre-Denmark production. I seriously doubt that. Because the cut would be much thinner, even if it had been rubbed out. Like the older Capstan Blue is nearly shag-like when you rub it out. Also, I have a bunch of Capstan Blue from the re-release in 2013, and none of it is this dark yet. And it also still has a pretty, I wouldn't say like, it's much brighter. It's got a more youthful vibe, even all these years later. Now you take that out of a tin, you put it in a jar for a couple years, and totally different. Man, that is not a bad guess. That's not a bad guess.
I don't know that that's exactly what this is, but it's kind of what I'm thinking.
What about like body and strength and stuff? I mean, originally I was saying that I was feeling like this was relatively mild, and a little further into the bowl, I'm not so sure anymore.
I would say it's probably medium.
I'd give it a medium, maybe low end of medium.
That works.
I'm also a terrible judge of these things.
Well, sure.
Well, when Andy was an infant, he was like swaddled in a tobacco leaf.
That's right.
I not only came out square, I came out in a tobacco leaf.
In a tobacco leaf.
I love that you guys are like propping up my mythology. It's
It's a story to tell, man.
Dude, I believed it until like a couple months ago. I mean, I was like telling strangers about it and shit, like on the street.
That's a good lore.
I am tasting something condimental here beyond Virginia, so that sort of kills the Capstan theory a little bit. I mean, the warming spices, the body, the fruitiness, like there's a lot there that I could see being older Capstan. And to be fair, it's been a while since I've revisited it, but there was a minute where I was smoking almost nothing but that like Blue Ready Rub from 2013.
I was lucky enough to get in on one of those tins with you.
It's great. Yeah. It's fantastic stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
but it has a very unique vibe. Like it has that nearly vanilla like kind of vibe to it.
So yeah, to me the killer is like you said, Shane. Like I just have a hard time buying this as a straight Virginia.
Yeah, at this point I'm almost positive that there's Perique in this.
Yeah.
I'm
Especially when you push
not
it,
so
when,
sure.
you, when you push it a little further.
How sure are you that this is not Scottish flake?
I'm pretty sure it's not Scottish flake.
Yeah, I mean, famous last words, but I'm pretty sure too.
Because I'll be honest, we're getting close enough to
I would buy it.
guesses.
I would buy it being Scottish cake more than I would buy it being Scottish flake.
Yeah. That was the first thing I thought of when I opened the bag was Scottish flake.
Really? Damn it.
That was literally the first thing. And I probably am wildly wrong, but that was my first thought.
So I've been smoking a lot of Scottish flake lately, and it's old, but it doesn't. I don't know. Like I'm not getting the same flavors.
Did you have it in a jar or was it tinned up?
So it was tinned up, opened, but in a jar.
Okay.
So think about that for a second. I had like a really wide mouth jar.
You're just shoving tins in there.
Yeah, no, seriously. So I had like, and this is probably like a dumb idea. Don't try this at home, folks. But like, I have this giant jar, and so the European round tins fit in there really nicely. And so like, I think I at one point had like Aaron Moore, Solani Silver or something, and then like Scottish flake, or like all in the same thing.
And all open.
So you just had like open tins stuff.
They were open tins because I was like, I don't want to open up a whole other mason jar for this. Just stick it in the tin.
But Aaron Moore was one of them?
I mean, I don't smoke it very often.
No.
Give it a
That's not
dedicated jar.
That's not the criticism. The criticism here is that all your other tobaccos can taste like Aaron Moore.
It was in a tin. They weren't touching each other.
They weren't touching each other.
Andy's doing experiments to find out like how much overlap is.
Exactly.
This is impressive.
There was a mystery review years ago, and I think it's when I was I'm pretty sure it was when I was the Inquisitor. I took regular like Orlik Golden Slice, like fresh off the shelf in the warehouse, put it in a jar with some like Grasmere flake or like Ennerdale or something like that.
Oh, that was one of my favorites.
And it totally did pull some of that essence into the Orlik. That was when we were a little bit like trickier.
Yeah. I can tell that there's some Aaron Moore has been around this tobacco. Someone opened some Aaron Moore near this.
Just a dusting. Man, I'm second guessing everything. Should we make some guesses and just like lose quickly?
Sure. I'm sticking with the Rattray, like aged, like Old Gowrie, that kind of thing. That was my first guess. I've second guessed it a lot, but I'm sticking with it.
I'm trying to decide, but I was thinking about Marlin. I was going back and forth between Marlin Flake and McConnell's Folded Flake. Now, Folded Flake...
Folded Flake is a really good guess.
Folded Flake, I remember being a little spicier, even with age.
Folded Flake is a really good guess.
Never had it.
I mean, yeah, it's Virginia, Perique, and Kentucky. And Darkfire. Is it Darkfire or Kentucky?
Blue tin?
The blue tin, like the baby blue tin.
Yeah.
Yep. There was a minute where I was smoking a ton of that stuff, and again, I've had it like at varying degrees of anywhere between like 5 and 15 years or whatever.
But Folded Flake always used to give me kind of those same vibes as Capstan Blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like maybe a little spicier.
A little bit spicier.
Yeah, I can see that.
And now that I'm like further down the bowl, I am getting more spice.
Yeah.
Folded Flake, I think, is a really good guess.
If I could double guess, I'll double guess Marlin and Folded Flake. And if this is Scottish cake, I'm gonna lose it. But there's a chance it is.
If I could double guess, my second would be Marlin.
I don't think I've smoked Scottish cake in a really long time.
I'm going with McConnell, either Scottish flake or Scottish cake. That was just it was what my brain went to as soon as I.
We're all just gonna make 5 guesses, and if anybody's close at all, I'm pretty sure this is not Aaron Moore.
Just guess every German tobacco.
Every German tobacco.
One of 2 Scottish McConnell blends.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Okay.
Scottish cake is I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Scottish flake. It's a long shot. I've smoked a ton of it. I've never smoked any that's tasted like this. I'll stick with my Folded Flake or Marlin.
Cool.
Let's do it.
And if it's Scottish cake, I'm gonna smack Alan. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
Wait, I'm gonna guess Folded Flake now.
Okay, perfect.
Hey everybody, this is Pete Prevost. I was asked to send in the mystery tobacco, and this particular tobacco is one that I wasn't familiar with several years ago when I first tried it, but Shane actually recommended that I check it out because I had kind of been going through this phase where I was kind of transitioning from smoking a lot of Latakia to smoking, more Virginia blends. And so anyways, I tried this one out, really liked it, and cellared some away back in 2017. I tried to throw the guys off by breaking up the flake, and also I thought maybe it would stump them a little bit because it does have 7 years of age on it. So it's definitely darkened in color quite a bit. But we'll see. We'll see how on point they might be with their guests. Anyways, the tobacco that I chose is the Sutliff 507C Virginia Slices, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for having me.
No way. No way.
Damn it, Pete.
I mean, we weren't even close. Dude, what?
That's wild. That's wild.
7 years has done wonders.
I'm really surprised. I like 501c or has a lot more sweetness, I thought.
And it's a mild tobacco. I mean, I've smoked a lot of it as well, and it is good. I just opened a jar not like a couple months ago and like had some, and it was not this dark, and it did not have nearly as much, like, I guess, perceived spice.
Yeah.
I wonder if Pete jarred it.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did. And to be fair, I had jarred it. I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
It's only available in bulk.
Right.
I had jarred mine as well, but I don't know. I really packed it in there. It was like the half pint wide mouth jars, and like there's not a lot of oxygen. By the time that I had like put 8 ounces of it in there, or
You may have
whatever.
had a few other tins in there too.
I stuffed some Aaron Moore in the bottom just to keep it propped up, keep it padded.
You guys are making fun of me, but you're totally going to go away and do it.
It's going to be the new trend.
No, this is. You could have
I'm
given me
shocked.
1,000 guesses, and I don't
I'm
think I would have
shocked.
got this.
I mean, like, if you would have given me the actual flake, maybe I would have got it. But I think because he broke it up, I think that threw me off with the cut.
I think it's so much darker. I mean, if you look behind you,
even
Andy,
on the relight now, it's just it's spicy.
It's spicier, yeah.
there's a fresh jar literally right there, and it is so much lighter.
Yeah, that's true. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Jesus.
Wow.
Well
Okay.
done, Pete.
Yeah,
Well-
good job, Pete.
I don't know what to say.
He's a tricky guy.
Yep.
Trixie Prevost.
Yeah,
his new name.
I'm seriously surprised by that. Let's see. Surprised, disappointed, ashamed, all that stuff.
Not been a great year so
Mostly
far for
shame.
us.
No, it has not. Oh, man.
But we look good.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know what it
Congratulations,
takes,
Pete.
Well done,
Yeah, well done.
Congratulations, Pete. We really appreciate it.
Love being embarrassed.
At least it wasn't Scottish Flake.
If it was Scottish Flake, I would have cried probably.
Yeah, me too.
I felt it coming when he said I smoked this because of Shane.
I thought so,
was like,
too.
oh, here you
I was
go.
like, that's
And for a minute too, I was like, I'm pretty sure I did tell him about folded flake. I was like, come on. I gotta stop talking about tobacco with people because like 7 years down the road,
Well, what
it's
would
gonna
you do
bite
for
me in the
fun?
ass. Yeah. How do you feel about the stock market? I've heard of it. I don't understand. I don't understand
I've
it
heard good
at
things
all.
about this stock market. It's the new trend that everybody's getting into.
I'm gonna go get my jar of 507C and smoke it like now. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you
guys.
next time for another potentially failed attempt.
Another failure.
Another wrong answer.
But we'll be back with more anecdotes about face shapes and breakfast foods and all sorts of stuff.
Do you guys get that thing the night before a mystery review now where you're just like, you just don't understand why you feel so bad about yourself before you go to bed? Does anybody else?
General
Is it just
malaise.
me?
I just have crippling anxiety before I go to bed.
Does anybody else get that?
I've
How
noticed.
terrible am I going to make myself look
Yeah.
on camera?
I've noticed that trend, but I don't know that I ever put them together. I thought it was
Yeah.
just my crippling
Yeah.
lack of confidence.
I mean, that's the thing.
man.
I feel that way all day, every day. So
This doesn't help. It's the point. Is the point. No, I remember last night. I can't remember. My wife said something to me, and I was just like, "Oh, there's a mystery review in the morning." Like,
not sure how
Here
to
we
feel
go
about
again.
myself.
Here we go again.
Well, you gotta just do like True It with the cigars last month. Just smoke every tobacco
That you can.
I was smoking some of this just last night.
I stayed up all night smoking everything that I had in my cellar.
Good news is I know what everything tastes like. Bad news is my palate is fried.
Exactly. No, this is tasty though. It's very
Yeah,
good.
very good.
All right.
good.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
See you
We'll catch
next month.
time.